All right, since it's 1:30 and the sun is going to shine, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Thank you all for being here. All right, the first thing that we need to do is take our oaths of office, as this is a yearly appointment.
All please rise and raise your right hand. All right, so I state your name.
I, Joni Truex,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Indiana,
and the state of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties of the office of Kosciusko County Redevelopment Commission
discharge the duties of the office of Kosciusko County Redevelopment Commission
according to the law
according to the law
and to the best of my skill and ability.
and to the best of my skill ability. So
Right.
help me God.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
Now
for
that-
being kind, Rhonda.
Yes. Shortening some of that up, yes. A lot of words, okay. All right, so next on the agenda is the election of officers. That was fun.
Yes. Are you looking for a recommendation or a motion of some kind?
Yes, either or.
So
both.
I would ask the question, are those who currently hold the office of president, vice president, and secretary willing to continue in that role?
Dan?
I'm willing
Yes.
to continue.
Okay,
Okay.
I believe we are. So now we need a formal
Jan, any
motion.
other- Do you, any discussion on?
No?
Okay, all right.
Okay, so we need a formal motion.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that the current officers remain the officers in 2024.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Anyone recusing themselves? Okay. All right, then we have the, thank you, Doug, the 11-9. Thank you, Dan, for being willing to stay on. Let's talk about the minutes from November 9th meeting, which we tabled some things.
The only thing that I'd like to, I will make a motion to approve the minutes with the one addition. Rhonda, if on page 2 of the minutes, the last bullet of in the matter of KEDCO update, the last sentence, funding would be sought to pay for the study by pooling together funds. If we could list the 3 entities that we're pooling, which is the county, the city of Syracuse, and the developer, which would be South Shore.
Okay.
Other than that, I
Alright.
don't have any.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we have a motion with that addition. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right, now we will look at 2024 meeting dates. I appreciate everyone's our willingness to change, but I think it's fine. We'll just, if it's okay with everybody, we'll leave it the way it was, which is the second Thursday of the month. And going forward, excuse me, in January of 2025, we can meet on the second Thursday of the month. We no longer have to meet on the first working day. That has legislatively been changed, and somehow we didn't know it. Someone pointed it out, it's in there, so we no longer have to meet on the first working day. But it was too late to do anything this year. We'd already been advertised. So if everybody is in favor, we meet every other month, second Thursday at 1:30. Is that
I'll make that motion.
okay? Second,
I'll second.
thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion passed. Is that okay You guys okay with that too? Rhonda, I knew you were. Marcia, I know the room's open. Okay, very good. All right, now, I don't know, do we have a KEDCO update? Are you here from KEDCO? No, I'm here from the library. You're here from the library? Oh, okay. All right. Okay, all right, so, okay, I'm going to, go ahead.
Is everyone on the board aware of the changes that have occurred at Kitco? If not, if
Yes.
Jan, if you, okay,
Yes.
okay.
I think we're all aware.
Okay.
They're in kind of a hold state at this point.
We're in transition. We're
Okay.
working on,
Working
getting
on,
there. Yeah,
on transitioning forward. How's that? Okay.
yes.
Okay, all right, then we do have a couple things on that I have a handout that I will give you at the end of the meeting. It's just some things that are opportunities that we have been apprised of that we want to, moving forward, talk about. Can't forget this, too. And I have an Ab and Marsh invoice also we need to talk about. Okay, so just to give you a summary at this point, but in our March meeting, by then you will have more information. We will need to discuss this further, but there have been 3 requests that have come before us. One is the town of Claypool, Louis Dreyfus TIF. They are undergoing some massive solutions to violations. It's over 3 million, and they've asked for us to see if we can help them. There's a lot of information that has to be discovered before we're in a position, but at least I wanted to give you an update on what I know. I've met and talked to them a couple times. Another one is that there is a company that wants to upgrade a building on 30 West and expand their operations. And there is a TIF there. And then State Road 15 North, there is a developer interested in partnering with us on a shell building, but it's a different type of shell building than any shell buildings that are currently in Kosciusko County. So those are 3 things that we need, that we, at the March meeting, need to discuss at length. And I will prepare and send out electronically all the notes that I have on all 3. Okay? And I would just ask that we don't, at this point, divulge any names. The town of Claypool is, of course, a government entity, so everything is public. So, okay, all right, and then I do have a legal services agreement for 2024, and it stays the same as this year, correct, Adam? Okay, so I would look for a motion to approve this retainer, which is $2,000 to be paid immediately. And then if we ask for anything additional, there is an itemized bill that would be submitted for $200 per hour. And anything over $100, we would approve in advance. So,
I think I ask this question every year, and this isn't a
You can.
motion, but being that the RDC does not maintain its own budget, the
money
retainer will
comes
be,
out of the TIF that have a positive balance.
okay, we prorated it, those tips, okay, I didn't know if it was coming out of the county's general fund or if it was coming out of the tips.
Nah, I don't think they want us to pay that out of the general fund. No, it comes out of the TIF
Okay.
because we don't have, it is in our budget, but we do not also have access to anything other than the TIF funds at this point in time.
Okay.
It's a good question. Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve this.
I also move.
Second,
I'll second.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. And then I have an invoice from Aben Marsh Consulting, and I believe there has been one meeting. Is that correct? Yes. Would anybody like to share with us what that meeting, I have not seen any minutes or anything, a recap. It would be appreciated if you would do that.
Yeah, so, yes, there was one meeting. The steering committee did meet. Doug and Jan were both there. I thought it went really well. We had representatives from both the town of Milford as well as Syracuse present, along with other parties that were brought in. The Farm Bureau was there, but not really it was more of a general representation. I think since that time, they are looking at trying to get that extended out. I know I've been involved with some emails back and forth with Crystal, more copied on it, that they're working with, talking to Maple Leaf and some of the other farm areas in that location. One of the big things I think came out of it was it may be an expansion of the district to look at. What came up was the County Road 17 extension that's been talked about back and forth for years, and possibly extending the district to look at all the way over to that extension area, narrowing it down, not necessarily getting down to what I'd say the 10-mile view, but encompassing that in. I think that was something that Milford definitely saw some benefit in, and as a whole, I think the discussion kind of steered that way. We left it as they were going to start doing their due diligence, talking to some of the other companies out there to see what was involved, get input from those, get with both the towns for their utility systems. We were lucky the town of Syracuse actually had their utility folks there, so I think those connections were made right there, but they're going to get more in depth about what was out there, who had what. The starting point for some of that, is there even possibilities for extending that? So I thought it was a very good meeting. Next meeting hasn't been scheduled yet, but I think they're looking at maybe another month or two before we get there, because no use meeting until they had more to bring back to the table. So.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
thank you.
Only thing I would add to that, just a couple of things. One is, in our minutes from our prior meeting, it was noted that one of the county commissioners was going to be present. It'd either be Carrie or Brad, and Brad was the commissioner represented on the steering committee, and I'm assuming that would be the case going forward, that Carrie would not. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, I think Brad had, with that being his district, he had some true, I'm gonna say, game in it. That was his.
Interest.
Interest, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very active with the Syracuse stuff that happened, so I think he really wanted to be involved. Carrie was willing to cede that because it made sense.
Sure,
you
sure,
know,
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
The other thing was that the original scope was for 1,000 acres along that corridor. And what was the number that Avon Marsh was? It was more like,
I don't have the exact number in front of me.
it was
but
big.
It was big, yeah. Because they had actually they proposed a map showing almost stretching down quite a ways to, I want to say they went all the way down to about 600 or north and really widen that out. And I think that was like, nah, there's no need to do that, kind of consensus was. But that's where the discussion to widen it came up.
Right, right.
So-
But even
Yeah.
with the narrowing north to south,
Yep.
but the broadening or widening from east to west is still considerably more than 1,000 acres.
Right,
Considerably.
right.
But the question was asked, is this going to change then? If the scope changes, does then the cost change? And they said no.
Right.
Right, because
So-
that 30,000 view wasn't
Yeah.
going to really be impacted too much,
Right,
I think.
right, right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it could narrow as it moves forward, as we get more information and see.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of factors with those, utilities are going to be one of the biggest factors, I think, so definitely seeing
Yeah.
both of those.
Because I think it was something like 15,000 acres, wasn't it? Something like that?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It was one of those like, wow.
yes, yeah, and so if it's not understood, that, I think it could raise some concern, but
Definitely.
obviously this is just very preliminary and 30,000.
Very preliminary.
Yeah,
Very,
definitely.
very.
Yeah, I
Well-
don't even know, you wouldn't maybe
No,
call
I'm
it that.
speaking to the press. Very, very
Yeah.
preliminary.
And I think one of the points of discussion that really got into it was the 1300 North extension, thinking, well, why don't we look, doesn't it make sense to keep that in mind? So,
Yes, yeah.
And this is a
yeah, such a big
really
scope.
high view of
Yeah,
what ifs.
exactly. It'll be interesting to see what they come back with after this, but I think it'll get narrowed down quite a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
So,
Hopefully.
yeah, I think just by nature it'll end up doing it, definitely.
I just,
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's,
To make it workable, I
let's,
think it has
let's
to.
put it in the dryer on hot.
Yes.
See what happens. Yeah.
I'm good at doing that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Matt, and thank you all for serving on that. I
so
appreciate it.
going forward, was there somebody that was, one of the associates from Marsh, were they taking notes or minutes?
I hope so.
Yes, I'm not quite sure which one was, but one of the two were, and I can reach out to Crystal and say, hey, can we just get a breakdown of that?
Yeah, I just didn't want to I want to make sure that didn't get missed in the conversation, that it would be well that we had minutes.
Definitely, just
Yeah,
at
it was all
least
positive, but we've all slept since then, so,
You know,
a
It's
lot of
always-
holiday in between.
It's always good just to,
yeah.
for them to keep us apprised of what's
And
going
knowing
on.
who the players were at the table that day and that, where the suggestions came
yeah,
from.
that'd be great.
That'd
Definitely.
be very helpful. Okay, on that note, Auburn Marsh has sent an invoice for Phase 1 partial payment of $5,900. And they have the entire bill split out as to when, or I shouldn't say when, as to how they intend to bill it. So at this point, they're asking for the $5,900.
So if you need a motion, I'll make a motion that the first installment is paid.
In the amount of $5,900, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. And did you get this also? I will forward this to you. Okay, no problem. I didn't know if she sent it just to me or she forwarded it or how she handled it, but I am going to forward it to, well, she sent it to accounts receivable. We don't have that. Maybe that was internal on their part. I don't know, but I'm going to forward it to you, Adam, just FYI, and Rhonda. Okay. Okay, does anybody else want this? Do you guys want it? Oh, come on, Matt. Let's go, no, no more paper. Anybody else want it?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sent to you guys. Thank you for approving those. Okay. Now, do you want to introduce yourself? We would love to meet you. Yes? We don't get a lot of people come to our meetings that we don't know are going to come to the meetings, so we're excited you're here.
Okay, well, great. My name is Heather Barrett. Do you want me to come here?
Please, because otherwise it won't be recorded. You're on live TV, in case you didn't know.
My name is Heather Barron, and I'm the new director at the Warsaw Library. So just getting to know things and people, so,
Welcome.
yeah, thank you very much.
Did you hear all of our names as we join? Let's introduce ourselves, and the audience can do that too, and at least you'll have some,
Oh, thank you.
hopefully, some names to put with faces. Adam, would you start for us?
Okay.
Jan Orpin.
Joni Truex.
Doug Haynes.
Dan Tystrup.
Okay. And I recognize you, Liz. Okay, this was very kind. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thank you for coming over.
Yeah,
You're
I
welcome to
recognize-
join us anytime,
Okay, I appreciate that.
and I love your library.
Thank you. I'm pretty
just-
partial.
Wish I lived in Warsaw. I'm halfway between two places, so
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
thank you. In case you didn't know, you can buy a card. Think they have plaque cards still available? We do, yeah. And also just a regular library card for non-residents. I've had both, so. Thank you for the plug. You're welcome. Okay, now, on to, Steve, do you have anything for us today?
No, nothing too major. The Kosciusko County Bridge number 161 just got let.
Okay, and where's 161?
200 South and State Road 15, right there at that sharp guardrail.
Oh, yeah.
Rough road patch. So all that will be in the triangle.
Good.
It'll all be repaved and put back together. And then we did get awarded community crossings, I believe, since the last time we met. So that means Bridge 320, 26 up by Tippy Dance Hall will be replaced. And Old 30 will follow all when we stop last year, 450 on the city limits, and then Ogden Point and a couple of little offshoots. So
Okay.
that's kind of the update for now. So,
Making progress.
yeah,
Thank you. Appreciate the community crossing grants, too. That's a huge, huge help. Not to mention federal grants that you work on. Matt, do you have anything?
No, nothing really big coming up, you know. I'm working on the redevelopment, and tomorrow's our plan commission, so now that we're into it, I'm gonna mention it to the plan commissioner or other business, just to keep them in the loop, and, you know, it's always interesting anytime we get more planning going on that, you know, as far as our year, it was about an average year. We had, development-wise, was about on the field average, not a high year, not a low year, but we saw a lot of activity, so a lot more than I would have thought. It was good.
And hopefully that should continue to spur, I would think.
From developments, yeah, we've got a new industrial that's looking at possibly going to the Barnes location, so, we've got a hearing on that next week.
Okay. Well, very good. All right, Marcia, did you have anything? Okay. And Rhonda? Okay, now we'll start here. Adam, we're paying you. That's good. That's always good. It was effective 19. I know. And the odd thing is how I found out. That's what we were told, that we had to do it, so we all were like good little soldiers and nobody looked. Well, and believe it or not, the town manager of Claypool is the one that said, "Why are you doing that? We don't do that." Yes, but, yeah. It's just I found that very eye-opening that you should never take things for granted. Go look at the statute. Yeah,
No matter how much you read, you're still gonna miss.
I know, but that one's been a real, in my opinion, inconvenience because a
Right.
lot of people want to be gone longer than Christmas week. It's like, oh, you have to come back. We need you. Okay, all right, thank you, sir. Do you have anything?
No, I don't. I'm good.
Dan? You're on, Doug. I know Doug has something, that's why I said.
Yeah, you know, so I sent out an email earlier today, just wanting to broach the subject. I was unaware that the redevelopment commission, which legislatively is supposed to have 5 members, but can have up to 7. And so while it hasn't happened very often, there's been a couple of times where we've been close to not having a quorum. But as I was sharing with Joni earlier, if we had members in the community who really wanted to be on the commission, would it make sense just to have a broader perspective, broader representation within the county, different skill sets? Would it make sense to entertain, which obviously wouldn't be our decision, it'd be ours just to recommend to the various appointing bodies, but to increase the size of the redevelopment commission to 7. So that's what I wanted to discuss, if there's, you know, pros or cons. Joni is absolutely against it. Just kidding.
Joni's not sold on the idea, that is true. The more people you have, the more opinions you have, the more diverse you become, which can be a really good thing, can also really slow down progress. And I feel like the 7 is for the places like Indianapolis and South Bend, Mishawaka, and places that have millions of dollars that they're looking at spending, whereas I'm just not sure we're there yet. I think adding you 2 guys was a huge step forward, and I really appreciate you coming and spending your time. I just don't think it's necessary right now. That doesn't mean we can't revisit it, and if everybody else is for it, but I think we need
Sure, yeah.
And I think we need some strategic thought rather than somebody saying, hey, I want to do this. They may want to do it, but I always am a little concerned about personal motivation for doing it for financial gain reasons down the road, because that could happen and does happen sometimes in lots of places. But that doesn't mean that anybody that expresses an interest, but I think if we were strategic in who we asked to be on the board or on the commission or talk to the appointing bodies about that, that would be a step forward, because I think we need continual knowledge and leadership. And I'm not saying me, I'm just saying that this needs to be ongoing. And it takes time to learn.
And that's,
Did
and
you
that's
even
part of,
know?
that's part of my
Yeah. Thought process.
thought process is because, of us five, which Mike is, he left for Florida in December, won't be back until April,
Right.
which, so we're down to four. If we have one other missing due to an illness or traveling, whatever, then we have a quorum issue. Also, if there's work to be done, and we have folks that are out of the area for an extended period of time, then how do we get that work done? But if, if any of us are nearing retirement or wanting to exit, then that knowledge is now lost. And so if we have 7 on the commission, then if we lose 1 or 2 because they, are no longer wanting to serve or just can't, whatever the reason, that we haven't then lost 1/5 of the knowledge base. So, and while I can understand your concerns, Joni, again, we're not the ones making the nomination. We might make a recommendation, but we're not responsible for the ultimate nomination. And so that responsibility would fall on either county or city as it relates to who they were to select. But I would also like to hope and think that, that going forward, the involvement of the Redevelopment Commission is only going to increase as we become more active. If, Matt, you're saying that you saw more development than what you might have anticipated. Did I hear that correctly in 2023? You've got three issues that is going to take some time to understand and research. And so again, the thought, if we had an additional 2, and I don't know if I had to go from 5 to 7, I guess we're needing an odd number so it would have to go to 7. But that, again, that the work involved then could be spread out more evenly, because I'd like to think that we're going to become more active in the coming months and years and not less active. So that's the basis for my thoughts around that. I'm certainly not wanting to make a motion. I just wanted to hear the thoughts of others and make sure that everyone on the commission was aware of the fact that that was even an option.
Well, and just like I shared with you earlier, in a perfect world, whoever nominates you for this should take the time to make a phone call and talk to you to see if you want to continue being on the Redevelopment Commission or not. Doesn't happen. We know that. But if in a perfect world, that is what would happen. And so the nominating bodies would know whether or not someone was seeking to step off or not. But like I said, that's in a perfect world. And that's not what's going on now, which is also part of my hesitation in just that it would be nice if there was some criteria for serving beyond, hey, I'd like to do this. It would be nice if we could figure out, like with Steve and Matt, an area of expertise or knowledge that they would bring to this. Or just my thoughts. But I don't think anything has to be decided today.
No,
But
of course
I think
not.
it's
No.
definitely worth some consideration. And there's nothing saying we cannot do that at any point during the year.
Right, other than it wouldn't be our decision. So again,
Right. Well, of
how
course.
quickly the commissioners and the city would respond to our,
The city has no,
the mayor,
no.
It's, council and commissioners, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're okay. It's just like the city's not involved in this.
Yep.
one. Yeah,
I'm thinking of
yeah,
other,
yep.
yep,
Okay, I got you. Okay.
so just county.
But we're not going to ask the new mayor of Warsaw.
No.
What he thinks, not on this
No.
one, so.
No.
Okay.
I
All right.
don't,
Thoughts?
so from your email, I mean, the thought just to meet a quorum, didn't overly excite me, because we should have people that are
Willing?
willing to serve. If you said, yes, I want to do this, and we all had to say yes
At some point.
at some point. But your other idea about the, having people up to speed, because it does take a
Years.
long time.
Yes,
For me, it
Oh.
did. I'm just
Well, it
speak for
does. I
think
myself.
we're still
To
trying to get up to speed,
understand and not feel like I just left and I have no idea what just happened, kind of thing. And that's not really what we want. I think we all agreed a few years ago that we wanted to be more active and proactive and just not wait for people to bring stuff to us, that maybe we want to come up with some ideas to present to the appropriate bodies of, hey, did you think about this? Kind of like the 1300 corridor conversation. And I think we can do that, but you're right, if we get a lot of projects, that may become burdensome for, as much as I love the meetings, I mean, you can only do so many when you have other responsibilities. So it is a thought. I mean, I walked in thinking, nah, I don't, but that is a thought. And if somebody does move off the, then somebody new coming in has to get up to speed.
yeah, because I mean, frankly, if the two of you stepped off for whatever the reason, you know, those would be really hard shoes to fill. I mean, you'd be years, because, you know, Mike and Dan and I all came on about the same time. Or
You've been longer.
maybe, yeah, maybe a year longer, but I don't know that I know
Michael,
any
no.
more than,
I'm trying
Anyone
to
else?
think of when Mike came on.
didn't he come on the same time I did?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
I've slept a lot since
Oh,
then.
yeah. Yeah. So, no, that's good. I mean, good discussion. I just wanted to make sure that it was both known, and then just provided an opportunity to talk through that. Dan, did you have any thoughts on the matter?
My thoughts are, it's too early for me to really stick my neck into that, but I see your point makes sense, and your point.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
Tony's
want to
point
wait
definitely makes sense.
before I make my decision on it, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Well, and I think too that, in all seriousness, this is something that would need to be talked about with the commissioners one-on-one way prior to a public meeting, so that they had,
Sure.
you know, we could.
Know
say-
what to-
Because if they don't feel there's a need, it's
Yeah,
not
but-
going to move forward.
Right, but the only way that they would know it is if we told them that,
We were considering it, I know.
well, or that we felt that there was a need.
Right, and I don't,
So, and then the last order was, again, in the minutes, it was noted that you had talked with both Brad and Carrie about 2024 goals and things, and I've approached Bob, and we have a tentative meeting scheduled. So I'll follow up with Bob here hopefully shortly.
okay, and I will make a sincere effort to put those in writing and get those sent out, what I've got. You want me to send them to you first, and then
Sure.
you add to?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it that way. And then I will send out a recap of, which I did part of it, but I didn't have all the notes with me at work. So would you prefer to wait and get the complete picture, or do you want to know what I know so far from the first meeting with Claypool, is basically what I have recapped?
So,
Yeah, you can send it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
doesn't hurt to know.
I'll add what I've found out from a couple other meetings too, and just at least give you a overview of. And do you guys want to know? That's fine.
That's fine, if not.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have no problem. The only thing is that, you know, like I said, I'm not going to put a name in there at this point. We'll just call it a company or a developer or whoever. So just for their benefit, because really not like to see some kind of a headline or a recording of the radio that you didn't know you were being recorded. Yeah, it's happened twice so far, so I'm now know. Now I say, are you recording me before I'll even talk to him, so. Just fun. What can I say? Okay, anything else? Thank you all so very much, and thank you for agreeing to serve. And I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
All right.
Do we have anything else to sign, just Adams?
Just the oath of office and
So you just wanted to learn